Welcome back, everybody. It is Season 3, the final season for this year of the GSL. And we're glad to have you with us as we go into our second best of 3 between MyuNgSiK and Innovation, the man himself.
So excited to get into this one. I think a lot of other people are watching this as well. Everybody wants to see how Innovation is going to do against this guy, MyuNgSiK, part of KT Rolster, a team who's in the finals of Pro League. That will be on Saturday, guys. Make sure you turn into that. KT Rolster, very big team. MyuNgSiK, a very good player for that team.
Yeah, definitely one of their more mid-range Protosses, but very solid player nonetheless. And I'm excited to see how he's going to perform today. I think the fan favorite here is definitely Innovation. I think MyuNgSiK might actually beat him. I think there's a strong possibility. Terran did get buffed, and MyuNgSiK is coming into this saying he's very confident he's going to get out of the group in first place, and he thinks it's an easy group.
Yep, Innovation did say that, and will that confidence really bring him through? Or, I don't know, are some of these other players going to be able to bring him down? Is he just saying that for the interview, or does he really feel that way?
Well, we have seen players come out in interviews say they're going to get out of the group in first place or totally wreck the group. We have seen players come in and say they're going to get in first place and end up in last. Now, it is notable that both of these two players playing today for the finalists of Pro League, both MyuNgSiK and Paralyzed, you saw earlier, are not set to appear in the finals. So they're really focused, obviously, on GSL right now. They can help prepare for the GSL while also helping to prepare, their teammates. For example, MyuNgSiK probably practiced a ton with Flash, helps Flash, prepare for possible TVPs he has to play in Pro League, whereas, now MyuNgSiK has preparation to play against Innovation, starting things off. And Flash is actually playing against Parting in his opening match. So first of all, that's sick. That's awesome. But this actually lines up really well for these two players. Flash is practicing MyuNgSiK to improve his TVP. MyuNgSiK practices for his PVT in the same way. So just a little bit of backstory going into this one. MyuNgSiK versus Innovation.
Up here in the top left, in the pink, the Protoss player, he is
KT Roster MyuNgSiK.
MyuNgSiK.
So sick. He got rid of his old hair, by the way.
Yeah, I noticed that.
No more
actually,
Goldilocks. I'm a little sad.
in the interview.
All right, down here, the bottom left in red, the legend himself.
Facer Innovation.
You guys seen a lot. Looks like he's going gas first.
That sneaky SCV was on the way to do just that, it looks like.
This SCV wanted to drop a quarter into the geyser and make a wish. Oh, yeah, he dropped a quarter, made a wish, and then made a splitey push.
Just checking to make sure everything's okay at the gas,
Yeah. It would have been too early for a gas first, but I couldn't see the supply, so I had no idea.
Yeah.
Could still be a gas first, in fact. Most likely not. Nope.
No. Well, the map is Deadwing. That is something we did not mention. And these guys did not go at cross spawns from each other.
Right.
They are rather vertical.
And important to note, the patch is out on Korea, has been for quite some time. You can no longer have close spawns on this map. So if you haven't been following, then definitely check that out. Saying MyuNgSiK Station there? Is that what he was trying to say?
I didn't catch that one, actually.
It's MyuNgSiK Station. I'm like, well, I hope it's online too, so that's really convenient for everybody. Samsung Station, if you want to come down to the studio, is online too. Towards the bottom right of the map, the southeast, if you want to look that up, if you want to come down if you're in Korea. And a lot of people are coming to the Pro League finals, but there's a lot more StarCraft than just Pro League in Korea, especially once the finals end. Be sure to come down to GSL. Get those GSL coins.
Yeah, man. You got to get those coins. You got to be here every day. Make it cheerful. Get that on camera.
Yeah. See, this guy just got 2 coins. Boom.
Easy.
Cool drawing of a Marine. You get some coins. What do you want?
Way too easy.
Way too easy. Well, actually, that looks like it was like a lot of time spent on that drawing.
Well, yeah.
But, I mean, if you're talented...
Maybe not so easy. Like, you got to put a lot of work into those cheerfuls to get them on the camera.
If you aren't good at art, then you have to be witty. And then you can... Because everybody can write. Except me, I can't write in Hangul. I'm like really bad. Whenever I come to the bank, they're like, you speak Korean really well. I'm like, yeah. It was like, can you fill these forms out? And I'm like, can you fill the forms out? And they're like, but you speak Korean. I'm like, no, like, I can't write. Like, this is a problem. I never practice. I type on the keyboard all the time, texting.
Yeah. I mean, you can write, but it's slow, I guess.
So I would have to write my sign in English if I wanted to have these coins. It'd be a challenge. So Reaper pops in here.
Mothership core pops out.
Yeah.
Good micro on the probe. He actually almost loses that Reaper.
Reaper pops in, the mothership core pops out. You can't explain it, man. Just the way of things.
Magnets, Reapers, how do they work?
How they work.
Can't explain it.
Some guy who wrote the lore on the Reaper is like very disappointed. He's like, actually, don't you know
Actually,
they're
you can.
ex-criminals and they've been given jetpacks. It costs a lot of money to get like Vespine gas there. We did recently innovate them, so they don't need tech labs anymore. But so he's actually gonna pop in again, and we have a Stargate coming up. Now note the very fast +1 of innovation here, which indicates that he may actually do a follow-up timing a little bit later. The +2 to Lazy Boy.
No scout on the Stargate. So he scouted that pylon, I believe, a bit earlier. So he doesn't know there's probably a building back there that he wasn't able to scout, but he's not sure what it is now.
Could perhaps scan it a little bit to confirm. Innovation isn't really the type to scan. Innovation's one of these Terrans I was calling in the beginning of the Castle players switching over, and we had the hybrid league and stuff. This is the Innovation was the player who hit the Kespa timings, because he was like so Brood War oriented. Like, okay, I'm gonna hit this so fast. Like, I'm gonna have this timing figured out more than anybody else. I will never drop a scan. I will only drop mules. He does scan though, and that's a great scan for this map. You know, you want to know what's going on. If you can't see and you can't know, then he already saw the pylon like you said before. But yeah, he loves to hit his timings, and if you want to hit these timings fast than anyone else, you got to save your scans and hit mules. But in this case, it's going to give him a lot of safety against this Oracle coming through.
Yeah. Doesn't want to take too much damage from this, just wants to be safe. So in case it was something else like DTs, he would have had to know about that as well. So he needs to put down that scan and just get that in there. Notice where his Marines are actually, right here near the production, going to protect any new Marines that pop out. And he's also got turrets and some more Marines here at the natural.
What's your opinion on these Oracle builds? Do you think that they're still viable, or do you feel like they're just not able to get much done against a safe player? Because we've seen this now twice today. We don't see Oracles as much in Pro League these days. It seems like it's kind of fallen out a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's not scouted, like we saw in the game 2 between Paralyze and Cure, like Cure was able to just put his Marines in the mineral lines and defend it pretty easily. I mean, that Oracle only got 2 kills at first. Eventually, Cure did make a mistake, and he lost, I think it was 3 more SCVs, but still, it usually doesn't do that much damage, but it does force the turn to react. It forces him to multitask.
Makes him stay at home as well.
Yeah.
I still like it, although I feel like it's not as strong as it used to be. Even after the Oracles got buffed, like, you know, that was like, that moment was when it was the strongest, and now it's not as strong. But the turret's up and a few units at home, he's actually comfortable enough to just straight up walk across the map right now. That's what he's going to do. It's a Forge. And the Colossi are already on their way out here. So, you know, this is something that MyuNgSiK is known for. He's more known for his Phoenix play. But actually, no, he is going to make Phoenixes. We may see a very similar game to the game we just watched with Paralyze.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised, actually. You know, these two players very similar in playstyle, at least with the air units. Could be just making maybe 4 or 5 to shut down some drop harass. We're not exactly sure just yet, but very similar here. These Marines are going to stim in. Actually, they do catch one of the Stalkers, and they're going to have to back out. They're taking a lot of damage from that Nexus cannon.
All right, medevacs are boost in. They're going to come join up with the army. This is going to allow them some drop potential. The Phoenixes, on the other hand, are going to have a field day if they can lock down those medevacs. So it's going to make it a lot harder to drop. Also note that the location to the top left, like the bottom left of the base, I should say, the main base, there's a lot of dead airspace there, which means he can't just like drop his Marines out right away after he decides not to drop. If he tries to retreat to the south, he'll find himself caught. And he's revealed. The Phoenixes come over here. He does drop here, but that dead airspace to the left means he kind of struggles to swing around and hit a drop in the main or anything like that. It's going to be a lot more difficult to pull something like that off.
Yeah, I think Innovation's got to go back home. I'm not sure if this is going to do much more damage. I mean, he's trying to follow it up. He's trying to put pressure on while he's taking his third. He's forcing MyuNgSiK back in his base, forcing him to just defend. while he gets that third base.
Yeah, well, I mean, the third base that he's got coming up is pretty quick. This is what Innovation likes to do. Likes to put a little bit of pressure on, but never overcommits. Takes a third base and then gears up for that timing attack. Ooh, this is going to mess with that, though. It's going to delay his command set pretty significantly. And that's the only kill the Oracle's gotten, but that makes it all worth it. That is so huge to lose this much production time and to scout it in the first place.
Yeah, it's great just to have that unit out on the map. It's so good for scouting, so fast. And he's just able to quickly go over there and scout it out, delay it, and put up his own third because of that information.
And look at that. On the production tab, a second Stargate. We're going to see this Phoenix style make a bit of a comeback, at least in this group. And we've seen a lot of players like MyuNgSiK, probably MyuNgSiK the most famous for doing this, and usually having very limited success. We don't see it work most of the time. We saw, last game, Paralyze made it work, arguably. You could argue he made it work. He didn't win the game, but he certainly controlled the game for a large portion of it. And we'll see if MyuNgSiK can do better against Innovation himself here. This is pretty exciting.
Yeah. Maybe MyuNgSiK a bit more versed in the build. Maybe we'll see a bit more clean style out of MyuNgSiK here. We're going to just have to wait and see. Usually these games play out for a long time, as the Protoss is pretty defensive for a long time, getting that big death ball up with all those Phoenixes and the Colossi.
And those Innovation has already added a second starport and is going hard on his Viking production, going 4 at a time. Like he's ready for this. As soon as he saw the first Phoenix, he was like, I know what's going on. I'm not going to be caught off guard by this.
Yeah. I mean, he was just sitting and watching the last game, so I mean, if that wasn't any more of a tell or any more reason for him to suspect that this could be the same build.
So funny, two Process from opposite teams, rival teams are going to meet each other in the finals. Both use the same build against each other, or against their Terran opponents here in this group.
Yeah.
It's
even making those cannons, like 3 cannons going up there at the front of the third base. Very similar. Like I would not, if I didn't see the names and I didn't know the players, I wouldn't be surprised if this was like game 3 of that series of like a best of 5.
Right, yeah. Now the upgrade looks like did finish there for the Vikings, and in fact it did. 2-2 about to finish for the ground army. The +1 will be ready for the Phoenixes as well in just a second. And a Phoenix will totally destroy a Viking should it get in range. We talked about this a little bit in the previous series. See how that comes into play here. Oh, great tag, retags. And this allows them to know exactly where the army is positioned, exactly where the Vikings are. And it's just a tight line you have to walk for both players. Do you overmake Phoenix? Do you overmake Vikings? You know, how many is he making? You have to be constantly aware of that. And that's where these tags are really important. It also gets the information that there are only 6 medevacs, so there's not a whole lot of healing going on.
Yeah.
That means if he can force a stim for any reason, it starts to really hurt.
+3 on the way here to attack. He's got the +2/+2 done already. And if you look at the upgrades of MyuNgSiK, he's only got +1 to air. He has no ground upgrades. Those Colossi going to be shooting with some flimsy lasers there.
Yeah. It's like your laser pointer you got for Christmas in your stocking, man. And you just like use it for the first day, and you were like, "This is kind of cool," but you never use it again. Yeah, that's pretty
it just
much,
sits on your desk.
It sits on your desk, and then when you finally want to use it again, you find the batteries are dead somehow, even though you never used it. You're not really sure. At least that was always my experience with laser pointers. That and cats, but that's another story entirely. So, yeah, these upgrades, I mean, that's the trade-off. You go for a build like this, you're putting all your gas in Phoenixes, then suddenly you install the upgrades. You can kind of afford both. All right, he's actually trying to bait this engagement, I think, with a Nexus. He wants to take this.
Vikings getting some good pot shots so far. Of course, they are revealed by that Oracle, so he doesn't know where they are. That reveal does stop now, but the Nexus does go down.
MyuNgSiK has 8 Colossi. Oh, that's like, bro, that's twice as many as 4, man.
That is. It's twice as many as 4. It's 4 times as many as 2.
He actually wants a 9th one, so he threw away those Zealots.
That's actually true. Like, that's actually what happened. He's getting that 9th Colossus out. He's getting another Phoenix out here as well. And he wants to fight. He's very confident in this.
And old times, people invented the 0 for situations like this, man, because we might have a 10th Colossus, Brendan. Humankind has come up with this number. going to have a 10th Colossus in this game.
All right, it's possible.
Let's do this. Engagement has started. Some great EPs on those Phoenixes, and he's a bit timid on how he responds here. The Colossi at the back are not really fighting, but I mean, I don't know if it's going to matter.
I mean, they're getting the fight now, and they're really roasting a lot of that Terran ball. He has done a very good job of it, but the Vikings do stay alive, and they have taken a lot of pot shots on those Phoenixes, but still, the Colossi remain alive.
A lot of probes were killed also. Puts the probe count down to 46, which means Innovation has a much better economy. In fact, doubling the mineral income as we speak right now. Base was mined, or emptied actually by that attack as well, so he's losing saturation. Whereas Innovation has not only a 4th base finished and planetaryized, he's got another base he can actually use to drop additional mules, make more SUVs if he wants to. Innovation in a great spot right now. Economy-wise, he's golden. He also has those upgrade leads with Tom that were so long. I feel that's why he took that fight so confidently there. Or rather, I suppose that's not the best way to put it. The best way to put it is, like, even though he had some trouble in that fight, like, his upgrades are what held him in it through the long run.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's really hard to take any fight against 9 Colossi, but he made it work. Somehow he came out ahead. And again, the 9 Colossi remain, as well as building that fleet, that Phoenix fleet up again.
Yeah. Pulse crystals on the way. +2 as well. Again, neglecting his ground army. +2 is already done for the Vikings. The armor is
+3 already.
Yeah, the armor is what's really important for those Colossi to deal with the Vikings, because the Vikings will, you know, their rockets fire twice.
Look at the supplies right now. Innovation is maxed out. MyuNgSiK is just now getting to 186, and he has no bank. Innovation's getting that bank. He's doing a lot of damage to that Nexus already, and here comes the fight. The Colossi in the back doing a ton of damage. The upgrade's still way in Innovation's favor right now. Starting to take out those Colossi are the Vikings.
Yeah, the Vikings are getting pretty thin here, though. But how much ground army is left? I mean, it looks like this is actually going to be another fight that allows him to get a Nexus, but you know, he's just barely able to scrap by. Nice pickups on these probes. But here comes that second wave, and there's still 4 Colossi left. I don't think engaging this straight up is going to be the right choice. In fact, he's even losing a lot of these units to Graviton beams.
And all the Vikings go down as well. The Phoenix fleet, this time it survives. And it's a big supporting unit there for all those Colossi that remain. He's got 4 left. He's making them as well, 1 by 1. He's getting the +2 now.
Innovation is just trying to win this game Zerg style, like through just pure production and macro. Just like, I have a bank and I'm just going to keep wearing you out. You might kill my army once or twice, but I have the better economy than you, and I'm just going to use that to remake units. Loses his entire Viking squad again. And a misclick leads us to have a carrier on the production tab, so that's going to be really interesting a little bit. With no Graviton Catapult, that's probably not going to be too useful in a fight, especially against an immense Viking count. Innovation is getting serious about his starports. He's getting 2 more. He's got the bank to do this.
Yeah, kind of following in Kier's footsteps. We saw Kier making 6 Vikings at a time.
I think Innovation will be going up to 8 with this. He's spending a lot of time rebuilding medevacs right now, and I think he may actually decide to do you know, a little bit more ground-oriented pushes for a little bit, try to avoid those Colossi. You know, move over here, maybe pick off an assimilator. If he can lock down this location, maybe pick off the Nexus, but I think probably just going to focus on just getting a structure or 2 if he can. Just trying to take good trades every time. The upgrades of these ground units are just, there's a huge disparity. It's still there. There's 1-1 to 3-3.
Yeah. We just got to look. No Twilight Council.
Yeah. That's problematic. That's also means a lack of charge. So, I mean, it makes the ground army even weaker. You can rely on Phoenixes for helping defend your Colossi, but can you rely on not very well upgraded Colossi to win every fight against ground armies, especially ground armies that become more and more Ghost and Marauder oriented with so many EMPs to help out? Oh my god.
Oh my god.
This is happening.
Of these medevacs, they try to drop, but they're being lifted at the same time. They all go down right now.
Yeah, that's enough Marines to make these Phoenixes want to get out of there. It's still a pretty good trade, but this is putting him out of position. These Colossi are actually a little bit out of position as well. The Vikings are just going to take this fight. Here come the Phoenixes. I'm not sure if this is going to be what Innovation really wanted to do here. May have been a bit too aggressive.
Yeah. He's going to have to back off now. He just doesn't have enough Vikings to fight against all of those Colossi. He's going up to nearly 8 again. Looks like 7 in the mix right now, getting that 8th. And he's trying to fight and trade here, but he doesn't have that army right now.
Yeah, this is really a big problem. He had a really good grasp on this game for just a moment, but now he's got nothing. He can't drop. He can't engage against the Colossi, which are all still alive. Should, in just a second here, MyuNgSiK actually get a little bit more resources where he can feel comfortable enough to add a Twilight Council, which I think he probably should. He can actually make his army even better, too. Just needs to hold on to these bases he has. He's gotten his worker count up pretty healthy as well, now up to 60. Not quite the 69 of innovation, but still, with this many harvesters, you can mine a lot of gas. And that's what's important right now, especially for getting those upgrades. I really feel you should add that pretty soon.
Look at that army loss value, almost double in minerals there for innovation compared to MyuNgSiK. So obviously innovation, he has mined more with those mules, but he has lost a lot more at the same time.
He's playing late game TVP, he wants to. He's zerging it, like I said. I mean, he's got the whole map, the whole bottom of the map. It's his for the mining. Okay, this is a really good moment for MyuNgSiK to try to take control of one of these bases, perhaps cut off some reinforcements. The other thing he's missing with that Twilight Council is the Storm transition we saw from Paralyze. He just doesn't have that. He's a one-trick pony right now, and if he gives Innovation enough time, he will have all those Vikings out.
It looks like he wants to go for the attack, though. I don't think he wants to give him that much time. He's poking right now at that 4th base, trying to take down that orbital first. But here he comes in for the fight. Phoenix is going against the Vikings. A lot of those Phoenixes being EMP'd now. Very weak, but still a ton of Colossi in the back doing way too much damage to the ground here.
Yep, this is a lot of army now, and I just don't think Innovation quite has enough to handle it. He has a ton of production, though. Can he can he get the time he needs to make these? Because there's only 10 Phoenixes left, and Pure Colossus, if enough Vikings come in there, can actually deal with that. He's dropping a Mana Nexus. I think he's confident enough. I think he's a bit surprised at how well he's been able to do with this. And he's like, yeah, I guess I just kill him, you know?
I guess I just win. All those Phoenixes still alive, or at least a lot of them.
This is like so many Colossi, man. He went up to 9. He never broke the 10 I was looking for, but 9 is a lot. Is he making one right now? Oh, he's making a carrier again. This time it's for real.
Yeah, I think that's a real carrier.
It is a real carrier.
Ooh, and that 10th Colossus also gets on that tab.
Oh yeah, he could. Are we gonna see 10 Colossi?
Could happen.
That breaks the books, man. I don't know about that.
Well, 9 Colossi fighting right here against a very weak Bio Army. GG. Innovation goes down in game 1. MyuNgSiK takes it.
You know, I'm actually I'm feeling Kieran MyuNgSiK get out today. I don't know if Innovation can get out. Big fan favorite, got a lot of support behind him, but I mean, we're talking about some of these players who are preparing with the best teams in the world right now, and especially look at MyuNgSiK and Paralyzed, the teams they're practicing with, and you look at how well Cure is playing on, you know, one of our teams that made it to the top 4 on Jin Air.
Jin Air also a really, really strong team.
Right.
Maybe a very small step down from KT and SKT, but still one of the best here in Korea. And if you're, again, trading with those players day in, day out, 16 hours a day, you're going to be very, very good.
That you are. So I think one of these players needs maybe a small restroom break before we go into the rest of the series. It's going to be Innovation. He's the one. He needs to take a little bit of a break.
Needs to take a breather after that game.
Take a breather. Wash his face. You know, if he
scrub his toes.
Scrub his toes. He could maybe brought his toothbrush. He was feeling. Maybe he's like, oh, my breath's stinking a little bit.
Maybe that's what's getting to his head. He's like, I can't play well. I need my teeth to be brushed.
Yeah, he's like, got to do a little flossing. He's gonna, you know, one of his friends, like he, you know, told him before the match started. He's like, you know, I know you're coming down to help support me. You know. Can you bring some Tic Tacs? Because just, you know, I don't want people to think that my breath smells bad in the booth, even though they can't smell it, because it's soundproof and smell-proof.
Yeah.
To my knowledge, the more likely case is that, you know, he's drinking a lot of water, and you know, nature calls.
Yeah, nature does call from time to time.
Right. And what do you think about that last game? I felt like. It's really hard to say, like, what went wrong for Innovation. he took too many fights that he couldn't recover from.
Yeah.
He struggled to deal with the Phoenixes a little bit more. Like, it seemed like Cure was much more prepared, much more well-practiced for the style.
It seemed like Innovation never really made that full transition into super, super heavy Viking production, you know? He never really fully went into that till pretty late when he was making like 6 or 8 at a time. But, you know, he was making 4 at a time. He was losing a lot of medevacs in those fights that he was taking that weren't so good. The Phoenixes were always staying alive.
Yeah.
He was always trying to go for those Colossi, and he wasn't doing too well because he didn't have enough Vikings.
He also wasn't getting the money EMPs that Cure was getting.
Yeah.
Cure was getting some really good EMPs, and they really committed a lot more to the Ghosts. Innovation seemed to be a lot more committed to the Vikings. And he was trying to just trade and use his economy to win, but as has kind of been figured out in StarCraft II, you know, some players like MMA like to play like this, for example, in TVP, where you just take the whole map and you get planetaries up everywhere. You know, that's a style where you just kind of trade with the Protoss, try to get the better trade, and then just use your macro, the money that you have to build up units, because it's harder for the Protoss to hold onto their bases, because, you know, Terran has the strong army, they've got planetaries, their bases are going to be okay. But it turns out, you know, Protoss can warp in units right away, straight up in your face. Terran needs time. You have, even if you have 20 barracks, you still need a lot of time for that wave of units to come in. It's going to come at all these different barracks, all these different locations. It's not all going to be together.
Exactly. Well, the next map will be Nimbus.
An interesting pick. I guess a little bit better for drop play. Do you think MyuNgSiK is going to go for the same Phoenix style on this map?
It's not quite as big as Deadwing, but I still feel like if he's confident in the style, I think he could make it work. Do I think he's actually going to go for it? I don't know. It's hard to say. Maybe.
Maybe so. All right, guys. Game 2, MyuNgSiK versus